UCLA is an old school one that all of a sudden we've had a couple base runners. He's pitched out of the stretch. The dugouts noticed, and they'll say he never gets past C. So your timing to steal a base as levels move up, and now a stolen base isn't given, you start doing U, C, and now I'm getting antsy because he never goes past C to deliver a pitch.
Or common sense,
Or-
a guy that never looks, right?
Yep.
And again, it's at 9 years old. I got, we were in Kansas City, right? That clown.
Yeah.
Okay, he was stealing like up 22-1, like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so anyway, like I think the big thing when you're picking off the first, okay? When I get to be at 11, we kind of can call picks, and we'll get into science here in a minute. But just when the guy's got a big lead. But I'm trying to teach them they can't turn their shoulders when they're set, right? So they're getting here and they're just trying to look there. And then you can give them just a back move, like that's just kind of toying with them a little bit. That's not my great move, right? But the biggest thing I like was just getting here, vary your looks, and then we got to get our feet moving quick. Okay? We just got to get to the point where we're, and throw. First base, obviously key. You don't want to, and I don't tell my kids to worry about them this much. I have some kids that just want to absolutely pick this guy off, and then they throw it to right field, and it's like a triple or home run. So I don't mess with this, and usually until they're older. I try to keep them close. Some kids have better moves than others. Just know that, right? Some kids understand it. Some kids will throw it in the right field every time. So the other one I like is sometimes with kids, and this is in high school a lot, or when you get to be 13, 12, 13, is sometimes you just picked off and you get the ball back, and right away you get the ball in your hand or however they set up, and you can just go quick. And that gets them a lot of times because they're trying to get that lead crossing over, and they're back like that. So just some things to work on in practice. I'm not a huge pickoff guy, young.
So the one, you've got the two different styles picking off first. You've got the stepping over, and you actually kind of come this way. That helps you start to get your turn.
Yeah.
But you step, all right? And typically a lot of times maybe you'll show that early in the game or your first pickoff move or early, and they think that's your best move, and it's not. And then you go to the jump turn.
Yeah, jump turn.
Yep. Which is that one. And that's your quick move. Now, by letter of the law, this knee cannot move before this one moves. You're never going to get called at the youth level. Nobody's ever going to, because they'll miss half of them at high school. So
They do 100%.
So the jump turn is your quick move, your best move. And you can actually work on that. And you'll get some kids falling asleep over there or worried about how far am I, and they look how far am I, and that's when you're picking,
I think honestly, at the stealing and holding runners, it gets 12 and 13 is the years I think it really picks up because catchers start getting stronger arms, and then you got to be quicker. 9, it's almost impossible to throw a guy out second. We have.
Quick question on picking up that third.
At third?
When you raise your leg, can you just throw straight towards third, or what's the rules on that?
Yeah, it's the same as if I was a lefty. Yeah, but I don't know what your take is. I don't ever, this is just my philosophy in baseball. I never hold at third ever, 0 ever, because I see a lot of kids at, like, I was in Kansas City, they were doing it. Kids sitting there holding like this. You're never going to do that in high school, ever. 0. You got to play your position because the field gets too big. You can get some outs on it, and you got a good play at, he'll talk about his I don't know what's called, but he gets people on it. But I just don't like holding guys at third. That's my philosophy. You might think different. I just try to teach them for their when they're in high school. Now, if that guy's got a halfway lead, I go here. But Mike's different than me. He might have some different philosophy on that. I train them.
Not really holding, I wouldn't say, but we're not doing like in high school. You'll kind of give it away. They'll at times get a third baseman play and clear off over here. At the youth, I don't think you need to be right here, you know, but a one-step catch and tag type, yes. You know, that he wants to come here, but I could, very minimal times, unless we're running our play, do we ever throw it to third base.
But you can get out sometimes with the guy sleeping there too. So all you go here, and same as a lefty move, 45.
Yep.
Okay.
You
So
have
yeah,
to throw it.
you have to throw. Yep, you have to throw.
And say with the lefty, you wouldn't recommend pausing still, right?
For what?
Like when he comes up to first, still
Good
not.
question.
pause.
And that, in some cases, there are cases where a lefty sometimes can pause and they have good moves. But what's the rule now, Mike? I don't know exactly when they pause.
Which base are we
First
talking
base.
about?
Lefty
First
or
base.
first?
So you see a lot of lefties go here and
Yeah.
hold it. So
So your pitching motion is not supposed to stop. It has to be a continuous motion once you start it by letter of the law. The good lefties, you know, and with my lefties, I've only got one this year, thrower, but we work on pushing the 45. So, I mean, they're coming up and I want them stepping this way to throw to first. And my big deal on my lefties is we take 2 steps after our throw, because it's a lot more deceiving. If I just do this, it's easier for the umpire to call a balk on that, as opposed to if I do this and I take a couple steps towards first. So we always follow through and finish that, but you basically have, you know, your 45 you can push. You cannot legally pause. The other thing you cannot do is, if your foot goes behind, you got to deliver a pitch. Here's the problem that you have. One, usually our umpires are a little inexperienced. But number 2, you only got a 2-man crew. So we've obviously got a runner at first. As an umpire, I'm now in the B slot. So I'm over here, second baseman's over here, second base is here. Unless I know definitely that his foot went behind him, I'm not gonna call the balk on him. So I don't have a good angle from it. But watch, you don't want your kids kicking clear back on your lefties.
But that, like, lefties are tough, man. And again, we're talking about, this is probably 13 left. Like, I don't get in the habit, if I have my 9-year-olds pick off a lot, we're gonna have a track meet because they're gonna overthrow, okay?
I
So-
definitely at 11 on your lefties, work on a pickoff move, because you'll nail guys a lot,
We're working on catching balls.
you know, but
The other thing is second, just a couple things to second. One of the things pitchers we're notorious for is, like, we're so locked in on this, that this guy is getting a walking, stealing lead all the time. Just make sure that when they get into high school, that's gonna matter more, because there are a lot of 3-2, 4-3 games in that run. We wanna keep that guy not getting a really good jump with 2 outs especially, because he's going on contact. So there's pick plays we can do where we get our shortstops, and I always teach my middle infielders, try to be active at more at 11, 12, and 13.
you want to show first the mechanics on an inside move
Sure.
and an outside move.
Sure, so an inside move, all it is, and you're trying to get a kid that's going on this, okay? So sometimes I would show it, it rarely gets it, but it just keeps kids honest. Inside move is just this. And then you're going. You can throw right away then. You don't have to throw, you just gotta break the rubber. Okay? But, I mean, this is a hard throw for a young kid to make though too, sometimes. That's why those pivot picks actually are good. But just kind of inside move. And a lot of times at second, we get in habits too of just looking and then going straight to home. Sometimes just look again, and then if you get a big lead, just step off. If they get a massive lead. Your shortstop and second, really try to work them, making active, one of them at least getting active. Like, ball pound works. I hate some kids are like, Omaha teams will be yelling at kids, we've had that. And you're just, they pound constantly here, and it's just, the biggest thing with our middle infielders is they got to be active and hold runners, and that's what we. I don't know if it's another session probably.
So who is usually calling the pickoff? Like, so the younger kids, 10, 11, 12, is it a catcher? Are you letting the pitcher do it at their discretion, or are you wanting, like, who's calling the pickoff move classically for them? The
Yeah,
younger
I think
kids?
we're gonna go over pickoffs in a minute, but I would say
Signs, yeah.
I rarely call many pickoffs at youth ball. I do more maybe at 13, 14, a little bit more. But a lot of times, like, you might be able to express that a little bit more. I do have some calls when he gets a big lead. I had some for my 12, 13-year-old team when my shortstop would flash his glove, I'm coming. Or sometimes we had a wheel play where he'd go and our second baseman would cut. So we had a couple signs for that, right? Normally I'm just having the pitchers like kind of read the middle infielder, and then they're either here. That's kind of your weak move. I always like, if you're coming to pick and they're going, we're going. Okay? So we're just turning and we're going. Okay? So half and half. I didn't call many. Did you? You probably do a little bit more than I.
Depends on the group.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Last year we did a first base. The first baseman called the number, hey, 1-1, or hey, Noah. Kind of gets them ready too, so your first baseman's not thrown off guard. He's basically calling, hey, you have to pick it over when you're ready. That way he knows, hey, it's going to come my way. He said, oh, stand there, next thing you know, it's in the right fence. So.
Another thing, watch first and second. Like, I see a lot of first basemen holding with a guy in front, a runner in front of them. Don't have your first baseman hold first and second. Have them play in front or behind. And just make sure you're doing that, because I see a lot of teams where their first baseman's holding and then he's out of position. Now, a good play out of that, first and second sometimes, is a lot of kids will run the back door if the guy at first is getting a big lead. Like you said, maybe come on 1-1 and then it's 1001 and that first baseman is gone, and you're going back door that way. That's a good play. Okay. Just look at your guys' lead sometimes. Sometimes you can institute
So
some
we'll
plays.
cover that. You guys kind of understand that. I mean, it is a great play that runners first and second, and the guy at first is getting this huge lead, and so your first baseman is playing behind, you know, not holding the guy. So coach is like, get off, you know, and he's getting there, and so it's a timing thing that when the pitcher comes, I gotta do that. When the pitcher comes set, he's going to go 1001, and then he's going to do his good move to first. And how I teach it is my first baseman, when the pitcher comes set, it's 1000. We don't get to the 1, and I'm already breaking, and now the pick's coming, and this kid's out. I've watched Hewlin run that a ton of times. It's a great play because that kid usually, you know, it could be bases loaded, but that you've seen it where that kid on first just keeps straying out longer and longer. It's maybe an easy out for him. Have it in your bag. So
How do you guys call those? Is it a
we got tons of
Number
colors
seed.
and numbers. Yeah. For the most part,
Like
we
if you
do.
notice it,
We
you
do because our main color is blue. Usually, if anything has blue in it, it's hot. If it's red, yellow, green, it's not. But so that we can throw out other numbers. But
And we'll get into first and thirds and some other,
yep,
like,
yep.
just some strategies on that. But the only thing I really call right now at 9U is, so I'll have my catcher, if I want to pick, I'll just snap at my catcher like this, and then my catcher will just, instead of giving us, and he doesn't, our kids don't even give signs much because it's fastball and I know it's coming. So don't dummy it down. Don't be like, maybe at 12, 11, 12, 13, start getting into some of it. But I just have my catcher do this, and our pitcher knows the pick at first. That's all I do. The other thing is, if the biggest thing, there's some teams that get into this chicken at third where they're just doing this crap. Like, I'm not a fan of it, but honestly, I just have my pitcher step off once in a while and just walk in and, you know, whatever. And best thing you tell your pitcher is if they're not ready, step off. They can always step off and just reset, you know, and that's just teach your kids that. Anything else with picks?
No, you know, and for the most part, at select, we don't see, you'll see maybe the chicken move on your lead off, but not so much where they're running halfway down and trying to entice the kick. You see that more in Little League. But just teach your catcher, let's make a mockery of this. I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna walk him all the way back to third, pitcher covers home. But make a point of it. You guys gonna play this bullshit?
Yeah,
Here
I
we
do
go.
that. I see it all the time.
And you make a mockery of it, and then maybe they'll stop. Otherwise, that's how they try to steal some runs. That I'm going to get down here, and then you throw it back to the pitcher, fake it, you know, and it's so.
But-
Just have them walk him and make an exact, not just a couple steps. All right, and have the pitcher cover home in case he happened to get by you, but walk him all the way back, make a mockery of it, and then the coach will probably call it.
I think the last thing you want to do talk about was just calling pitches and stuff. And
Yeah.
okay, like I said, at 8, 9 years old, I mean, my 8-year-old's lucky to throw over the plate, so I don't call anything. I might call like a high fastball sometimes if I think it's 0-2 and guy might chase, or might go outside a little bit just with a guy that can maybe hit that spot a little bit. But know your pitchers, guys. It's like with you know, I think my pet peeve is I think we try to make pitchers robots. Nobody's ever called a pitch for me through college, ever. Now, if you're playing Division I baseball, like they have guys that make a lot of money and they're gonna get fired if they, you know, so they're obviously have scouting. They're gonna call pitches, and that's it, right? You gotta listen to them. But like I always tell my kids, if they don't have conviction in that pitch that I called, shake me off. That's my philosophy. Take it with a grain of salt. Like, you know, some pitchers don't have a clue how to call a pitch. I think it's a teaching or coaching moment. Like, especially at like when you start getting to your age, Jeff, like you're gonna know like, hey, that guy just hit 2 fastballs in the dugout on the right side. Like, why are you throwing a changeup when he just hit a base hit up the middle? Like, blow his doors off, right? Just little things like that. Or hey, your catcher comes back, the umpire's calling it this far off. Okay, let's hammer that spot, right? So just little things like your catcher sees the whole game. So your catcher has to be educated on like what he sees.